Hey there, Feli here. Mistakes that I did as a wife and how I overcame them. Things that were creating enough tension to harm my well-being in the first place and therefore having a negative impact in the relationship. The first one was seeking validation, like a constant need, but do you still love me? And fearing to make decisions or whatever you like going to a restaurant, what you eat, I will eat, what you take, I will take. Or if you're happy, I will be happy. Should I do that or not? That big fear of actually making mistakes and upsetting. That was such a drive for me for such a long time until I've learned to actually make decisions and say, okay, I did a mistake. And that's okay. Embrace the emotions that come, making the wrong decision and actually taking the person, this is how I felt about it, this is how I thought about it, and therefore that's why I did that or I didn't do that. The need for validation. Look, I really feel the need for a hug right now. I want to talk about how I feel right now. And then that's the thing that I was seeking it in a negative way. I've learned to talk it in the open. I need this one, expressing my emotional needs without apology, without hiding around it, and then making it that I am worthy of receiving, and that's okay to actually ask for that kind of attention and care. Second mistake, I didn't know what I want for myself, what brings me joy. So I was thinking, all I wanted was to have family, to have kids, to be happy. And I think this is fantastic and it brings me a lot of joy. The connection, the warmth that comes from that. The question was like deeper than that, and basically really defining more and more of my identity. What is it that I want? What is it that I don't like? What I value most, what I don't value, or what is like the order of priorities for me. Okay, it's more important for me to talk with the kids than actually take a client call in the evening. So basically, really knowing that what is more important, more rewarding for me, then that's kind of it really helped me to set the boundaries and get more respect. Third mistake was that I was taking advice from people that didn't have the kind of marriage or life that I wanted, but because of the familiarity, but because of the proximity, I was leaning into this kind of discussions that in the end were not really helpful in any way. We were getting into the drama triangle. I was the victim and they were trying to solve it, or they were trying, that's actually not a big deal. You have to get used to it. That's how life is. Why do you want so much? Or are you asking so much? I've leaned more into books, and then from there, books are my really main source of whenever I have a problem I want to solve, say what are the top books on this subject, let me read them, going through, and then see how can I apply it in real life. Moving from taking advice from people that have the best intentions and maybe they want you the best, but just because they don't have the knowledge or the skills to actually help you, even if they have wonderful soul, wonderful intentions. Fourth mistake was aiming for independence. I had this image in my head of this elegant, confident lady that was pursuing it in a way that was harmful. I felt like I have to prove myself. So it was coming from a place of fear. If I am not independent, I'm going to suffer. What if the husband is leaving? The kids are growing. I'm going to be alone. What am I going to do? So I was thinking that I have to bring 50-50, and I was measuring the financial situation. And I was thinking, if you make that one, I have to make that much as well. But then I had this frustration because, at the same time, for me, it was important to spend time with the kids. For me, it was important to take care of some appointments and stuff like that. So basically, all these were like frustration because and distractions in a way. And it was really making me feel guilty and very negative and resentful. And so like, I can never make it. And then I understood that what I wanted is actually, I'm part of a system, I'm part of a family system, and I'm serving with my strength into the system. I'm going to do whatever is necessary to make it work. So if we need to extract the teeth, I'm going to make the appointment for extraction, and I'm going to do that because I'm not going to let the kids suffer, right? It's just important for the system and for everybody's well-being to solve a specific problem. I've understood that we are actually interdependent, and it's better to think of ourselves as like we are bringing 100% of ourselves in the relationship, in the family system, and not comparing it. It's just like you compare pears with apples. Just because some things that we tend as women to do more easily, like, being nurturing and taking care of the members of the family or the household and stuff, doesn't actually makes it as less valuable. Okay, so you say, okay, I don't want to take care of that. I want to focus on that, and therefore I'm willing to delegate. But really defining what is really important and valuable and fulfilling for me, it was a huge, huge step. And then I felt like, oh, actually, I'm giving 100% of myself into this. And therefore, I'm adding value in the system. And whenever someone is adding value, like everybody wants to be around someone that is giving them an increase, and it's coming from a very positive place instead of coming from, a fearful place of losing, right? It's just like, I'm coming from a place of adding value. I'm coming from a place that this is important for me and I want it solved. When we challenge them to think better of who they are, to think bigger, then that's actually, and therefore they will value you, right? They want you in part of their system and life. And of course, in the process, sitting down and discussing what are the things that we want to change or stop doing or delegating, it's also part of the conversation. And thinking that every part is doing their best and they bring 100% of themselves, and the purpose is to, as a system, to grow and become better, right? My biggest lesson was I'm aiming for interdependence and having the resources together and grow together and seeing it like that, instead of acting from a place of fear and going for independence. The fifth point, aiming to do all the things at the same time. So for a long time, I thought like I can do all the things. 1 year I did homeschooling, thinking that I can have my coaching calls, I can have, grow my business on coaching and helping more people and creating the impact, while also learning how to homeschool. I just wanted to have it like an integrated part where the kids are taking independence over their own learning and taking courses, having their teacher and pursuing the things that they want to develop, and not actually following a curriculum where they are forced to go through a process. Either way, I've learned that I want to have these deep discussions with my kids about their own experiences, their own emotions, their own desires, their own dreams, and better learn about the principles on how to be happy, about the principles how to be successful in life, how to have a great life, about relationships, about friendships, so many things that I as a parent can facilitate this kind of connection and communication. Doesn't necessarily I have to teach math. Reflecting on the things back, I thought like I had it wrong, like too late for me. I've been, focusing at the beginning of my 20s, having the husband, having some jobs. Then I had the kids in my late 20s. And then I've been focusing on raising the kids. And I thought like, this is like taking more than I thought. And I've been put more time and energy and focus in that than I was thinking before. But now in my late 30s, I'm reflecting back and said like, this is a great jump, or, from, job, marriage, kids, raising kids. And then I have so much time to develop my path. Because if I would be like, to reverse it and say like, oh, I should have had the career, and now at 40 I want a husband and I want to raise kids. That's kind of, fighting against the biological clock. And so many women are struggling to have a kid or to find a partner or to establish a family in your late 30s, 40s. For some reason, we expect to have it all and to be successful in all areas. And I think it's can be possible with the right resources. It's just, for me, I can have it all, but not all at the same time. And also, I can't do them all. It needs to really dig into what is really important. Okay, maybe I like a clean house, but I don't really enjoy the cleaning process, or I like a delicious meal, nourishing meal, but I really don't want to invest all that much time in cooking the meal. So how can I optimize that, or how can I delegate that? The sixth point is minimizing myself. So that comes in the way I talk about myself in front of others. Oh, I haven't done anything today, but I'm exhausted and I did a lot of things for others. But the problem was I didn't do the things that were important for me to do, or things that are actually moving me forward with what I want to achieve. And therefore, I said, like, I did nothing today. So that was just wrong. And I have to learn to talk positively about myself, because the way we talk about ourselves in the outside, it's actually how we talk with ourselves on the inside. And it's very hard for the people to keep giving us, positive appreciation if we don't embrace it, if we are not actually presented as well. Oh, look what I did today. Tomorrow I want to do better and I don't want to focus on that anymore. And basically sharing it as a positive feedback that the day was not a great day, it wasn't productive, I didn't do the things that I wanted to do, but this is exactly what I want to do tomorrow. So this comes from a more positive way than actually talking about how unhappy I am about my day, or just saying that, it wasn't a big deal, it's just nothing. No, thank you. Yes, I did put effort and time in doing that thing. So thank you so much for noticing. Or have you noticed what I did? That it's so lovely. The kids enjoyed the new lunch I prepared for them. I'm so proud that I found that idea and they enjoyed it. I put time and effort into preparing a thing, therefore I take the reward. I take the appreciation. I embrace it for what it is. I'm not minimizing it. The seventh mistake was avoiding conflicts. Well, this is a really huge one because it's really connected in the personality type and how we have different personality types in our personality structure and how we value different things. Like some people value logic more and emotions more, or fun or action. And for me, my priority is I value emotional stuff, having an emotional harmony. Your conflicts are about a lot of tension. I want harmony. So therefore, I was avoiding conflicts. I was trying to please, to make things so I can make the other ones happy, to make my partner happy. So for a long while, I've been avoiding conflicts. I was so scared. I was like, literally, there was something that Edward was upset about it. I was just, crying. I was sad. I was like, how can you talk like that? Why are you raising your voice? This is not important. We should talk. And there's actually a way where we can do it with calm and care. And I've learned to stay in the conflict. As I mentioned, it really helped me to express what I feel and how I want the discussion to go on, and stay in the conversation, even if it's very, very uncomfortable. And the way I make it more and more comfortable is like, I feel very sad when you raise the voice. I think this is unfair because this is how I see it. And actually verbalize more instead of just closing whenever it was a conflict, and then I couldn't think anymore. And I was feeling so distressed and sad and couldn't think, and some people, when they can't think, they're becoming so aggressive. and they're attacking more and more, screaming louder and louder. I was just like the opposite. I was just closing more and more, distancing myself, trying to protect myself. But it's a lot of value in conflict and forming your own opinions and expressing yourself and to find your own voice. And the last one I want to finish, the first mistake was thinking that others know better than me what is best for me. So this is a very tricky one. And it comes, I think, from what I mentioned in the first one about the validation part, where I needed the external validation. Am I making the right decision? Am I supporting? So basically it was coming from a fear of taking responsibility. What if I pursue this path and I fail? And then just thinking that I put in the resources, put in the time, and I fail. I couldn't think that I can make others suffer because I do one thing. And that gets me to another point where I want to dig deeper and express more about overcoming and dealing with guilt when it just feels like your heart is broken into. And I'll talk more about this in the next video. So see you in the next one.